Hey everyone. Today we are going to be talking about connecting the dots between your money belief system and the results that you currently have. My name is Brie Sodano. I'm a personal finance expert and the founder of From Sheep to Shark. And if you're watching this video, you should have just finished watching my free training on money belief system. And so this video is for you to start to connect those dots between what is it that's going on in my mind and how does that actually play out in my real life. So in the email, there are sheets for you to follow along with. So the first thing that you want to start to do is you want to start reflecting on your behaviors. Now, I'll tell you, for me, I started to see a lot of my parents' behaviors in my behaviors. And it was just stuff that was normal. It was just, I watched my dad make money and then stock up at Costco and buy all this stuff. And so there was this very intense feast or famine type situation happening that was created by his behavior. And when I first got started, I would do that exact same thing. I would get a really sweet paycheck and I would be off to the races. And it's like, off to Costco, not races, not like the race horses. Like I wasn't like gambling, but I was like, I'd go to Costco, I would pay stuff early and I would really get rid of a lot of the money that I had. And then I'd be right back in famine. So it'd be a very feast or famine type situation. And so, when you think about the activity that we did in the training, you want to start to think about, all right, well, what are the behaviors I saw my parents doing, or other people that were influential in your life? Like, what did I see them doing? And then you want to really start to connect, are you doing that exact same thing? Then from there, you can evaluate, does this behavior still serve me? Like, does this still help? Do I want to do this? Sometimes the behaviors were learned. Sometimes there was a reason for this in the past. I'll tell you a quick story. So I had a client whose dad was a drug addict, essentially. And when he was working, if he came home with his paycheck cash, we're talking like his teenage years, like if he cashed his paycheck and came home, his dad would steal his money and go buy drugs, right? And so for him, a behavior that was adaptive at the time was to get his paycheck and spend all of his money so he came home with nothing. So that way his dad couldn't steal his money and go buy drugs, right? Because it's like it's a double no, like bad situation, like bad you got stolen from and bad that your dad's doing drugs, right? And so that behavior was adaptive at the time, but then it wasn't helpful anymore. So now he's married, he's super happy, he's got 3 good kids, like everything's really good in his life, except for he's still behaving in his money the way that he needed to when he was in high school. So that behavior stuck. So you want to think about like your own past experiences, because sometimes there was a behavior that you put in place like years ago that had a purpose, but today, not so much anymore. All right, so the next thing you want to start to notice is patterns. Patterns are a little trickier. They require a deeper level of introspection. Just so if they're harder to see, just keep working with it. It's fine. It's part of the process. But patterns are going to be things that you have that happen over and over again in your life, and the circumstances will be different, so they're not as clear and easy to see. So I'll give you an example. So I had a client who, when he was a teenager, he got his first job. He saved up a whole lot of money. He saved $1,000. And this is a man who's, I don't know, he's probably in his later 40s right now. So, I mean, he saved $1,000, like 25, 30 years ago. And when he told his parents that he saved this money, he was going to buy himself this really cool thing that he wanted, they took the $1,000 and bought a new couch. And so he took that situation and made a story about it that says, every time stuff's going really well, it doesn't matter, I lose it all. And so that story has played out in his business. It's played out in a lot of different circumstances in his life. So when he came to see me, he was really struggling in business because he didn't want to be successful. He was terrified that if he actually made money and stuff was going really well, he was going to lose it all. Right? So patterns are generally, they play out from a story that we've told ourselves over time. So you want to start to connect the dots. If there's things that keep happening, like if you keep running up your credit cards, or you keep overextending yourself, or you keep doing these things, you want to start to pay attention to that and see if there's any stories that you can remember that you've told yourself over time that would make that pattern happen over and over again. All right. Reflecting on beliefs. So your beliefs very much impact the way that you see the world, and they impact the emotional state that you're in when you're taking the actions to get the result that you want. Beliefs, once you know how to identify limiting beliefs, they're very easy to break down. But limiting beliefs, the easiest way to do it, you want to start to really listen to your thoughts, and you want to start to really listen to the words that come out of your mouth. So you want to pay extra special attention to beliefs around that start with I am, because those are beliefs that you have around your own identity, and those are extra critically important. So if you say out loud, oh, I'm bad at money, I'm broke, I am broke, I am, not good at this, like whatever. Anytime that you're saying I am, you want to pay extra close attention to that. And you're going to start to see that the things that you believe, your brain is going to find ways to make those things true. So if you tell yourself, I'm bad at money, your brain wants to be right around your own identity. It wants to be right around who you think you are. So if you start saying those types of things, you're going to really see those play out. So you're going to want to go digging for beliefs. So the way that you really will start to do that is to start to observe. What are the things I'm saying? What are the thoughts in my mind? When I'm beating myself up about something, what are those things? What do I believe about money? What do I believe about rich people? That sort of thing. And beliefs are just things that you decide are true today. They're relatively easy to change with some questioning techniques. All right. Reflecting on duplicity. So duplicity is it's not so much a limiting belief, but it's a conflicting belief. And so duplicities feel worse. Like a limiting belief will just feel like something's impossible. I'll be like, nope, that's not going to work. It's going to feel like, nope, that's not going to work. A duplicity is going to feel like, oh, I want this, but I want this, but I want this, but. So the three main ways that I see duplicities happening is like, I really want this goal, but I don't think I can actually have it. So I really want to be a millionaire this year, but I actually don't think it's possible. 2 is, I really want this thing, but I think something bad will happen if I get it. Like, so I really want to be a millionaire, but I think my strangers will show up at my house and kidnap my kids if I was to actually be a millionaire, right? So you want it, but you don't think you can have it. You want it, but something bad will happen. Or you want it, but you don't really want it. Those are the 3 main ways I see duplicity. And so like, well, I want this thing, but not really. I'll tell you. So like for me, this was not necessarily super financial related, but for me, it was like, I want to change the conversation around money in a big way. Like I want to change the way that everyone in the whole country talks about money. But I don't actually really want to be famous, right? You see, they kind of conflict. It's like if I want to change the entire national conversation, the being, and I'm not talking like super famous, we're probably like talking D-list celebrity here, but I didn't really want that. And so they conflict. And so it's a duplicity. It's like, well, I want this, but I don't want it. I want it, but I don't want it. Right. And then reflecting on resistance. So resistance is really going to show you the boundaries of where your emotional comfort zone is. It's going to show you the edges of where you're stepping into fear, where you're expanding. And so the best way to start to notice resistance is to figure out one your favorite flavors of resistance. So for some of us, it's overthinking, procrastination, being too busy, losing stuff, being disorganized. You want to start to figure out how it plays out in your actions, and you also want to figure out what it feels like in your body. So for me, resistance is very tight around my chest. That really, I feel like I can't breathe. I'm like, right? So you want to start to pay attention. And the point of this activity is for you to start to look at your money belief system, and we start to see, what you heard, what you saw, your own individual experiences around your savings, your earnings, your investments, your debt, all these things, you start to look at like, whoa, I see how I see what I'm starting to see, like what I believe. I'm starting to see those like invisible rules that I live within, like like a maze of invisible rules. And I'm starting to see what this stuff looks like in my real life. Because you're going to see it, like, you're going to see why these behaviors happen, why these patterns happen, why these, like, you're going to start to reflect these beliefs. How are they showing up? What am I missing because of these beliefs? And when I'm feeling conflicted, what am I doing differently than when I'm not feeling conflicted? And what am I doing in resistance that I wouldn't be doing if I was like in alignment with the thing that I want? All right. So you want to start to connect those dots. What's going on with the money belief system, and how's this showing up in this outside world, right? All right, so do the activity, and then I hope that I will see you in Money Mindset Bootcamp, because it is going to be life-changing magic, money magic, life-changing money magic. All right, I love you. Thank you. Bye.